welcome to Klei Rhymes with Play dev stream.
Yes?
Yes. Wait, I'll scooch over. I'm new. I'm Steph. Very nervous but excited. It's my first time ever streaming anything into the web.
This is my third time, but I still feel very nervous as well. But hi, everybody.
Scooch over.
More?
No, closer to
closer.
me.
Oh, closer to you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
Right, so we're just gonna show some behind the scenes from the music.
Music?
Oh, here. Now it's okay if we're quiet. There we go. There we go. Is that too loud?
Is that too loud?
No, it's no. We're showing some behind the scene and my focus is background, so we can start with that. I have been very excited to show you some of the concept art that are. This is our first time Andrea's done some backgrounds for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a new background artist. Music is fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's show some concept art.
Okay. I think you pushed arrow.
Yeah, but okay. I don't know if it was obvious, but our background style was very inspired by Caroline and 101 Dalmatian style. So you can see on the bottom left is some of the inspiration sometimes we would gather. I think we call it mood boards. So you gather all the images, you kind of get a vibe of what the short is going to be like. And I always do that before every short because we don't know which the style each short is gonna be. Andrea did this one, so I think I'll go to the next image. It's got some. Here we go. Yeah, these are some of the first passes that Andrea did. She mentioned the bottom two are the first, like one of the options we were gonna go for, but Jeff didn't like them, or they were too off style for which we wanted. So you go through this process of like figure it out. Yeah. I really like how she actually included what each brush name is on the bottom.
I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, I would myself when I draw, I always forget what each brush I used this and like, oh, which thumbnail was that? Like, it's so useful to write down so that you could go back and be like, oh, that's the brush.
A little loud.
Okay.
That's better. Okay.
Anyways.
Anyways, yeah, no, I didn't even look at that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so the first top three are some of the key story points to the short.
Cool.
Yeah, so we liked the direction of the very first one we see here. Do you see my mice? They don't see my mice.
Do we see the mouse? I don't.
Doesn't matter. So inky lines, we kept the lines. We didn't go as color lines, but for the fire scene, there's some overpower red feel to it.
Hot heat.
Yes, it's Willow. Let's see, next one. And to design any building, there's like, you gotta know what to draw and like...
Oh, can't see the mouse. They can't see the mouse.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
good to know. Thank you.
Look at all these cool buildings.
Architecture.
Yeah. I don't think any of them looks like our final design, but
it's always nice to pull from each. I like the trees in this one and the rooftop in that one. And and you can see the beds in the middle.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's very, very like it. When I draw make a mood board, I barely look at it almost. Like I don't look at it very carefully.
It's like as a whole.
It's in my peripherals, like or like when you're stuck somewhere, it's like I wanted some inspiration. You look at it and then I go back. So like it's not quite copying either. So it's really cool.
I have some questions. So did we animate?
Did you two? Did you?
I animated as well as Sun, Matt, and Marie. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm like, I keep on thinking there's more of us.
Did Jeff do any shots in this one? No.
He did not.
Ooh. All right. And how long does a concept state take? I think... I'm not sure. I was gone for this part, but half a week to a week?
Yeah, I've worked in animation for a while now, but this is the first place I've worked at where things kind of happen at the same time, which is really unique to Klei, and I think it's really, really interesting because you guys will be coming up with like concept, and then we'll be like starting to rough out our animation with very, very loose references from the storyboards, and it all kind of comes together almost at the same time, and it's really organic, and it's very, very, very unique. And I think it's really
even the sound comes when like because usually it's probably because we have shorter time. They're starting the sound when we only have rough animation or an animatic. So even all that is just like a symbolism of how like we all work together really well. Yeah.
I've been at Klei for 3 months now. Yeah, so very short period of time.
1 year end half maybe for me. Let me click the next one. Something new to look at. Will you use the charcoal technique with future shorts? I want to.
Oh.
But I think to design the style of the short, I feel like each one is different. I get inspired by the story, which is also a part of the process where it's happening organically. I get the script and the storyboards coming at the same time, or we might even be concepting before the storyboard part. It depends on the character update.
Yeah, it's all different if
which.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is very fun. It's like what suits them the most. And it's not just to make a style that's cool, but it's a style that suits the character.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
You're saying hi, I'm waving. Everyone's so nice. Oh, also there's a question from Curse. I lost the name. Anyways, how is it being the newest person at Klei?
Yeah.
And I know so many people here already from working at different studios. So it's like home.
Yeah,
like it's already
fitting really well.
It's
really
working
quickly.
with people I've known for years, so it's been really great. Yeah.
Do you do in-game art as well?
I do not.
I've done a couple on Griffland, but I've switched to the cinematics quite soon after that.
Okay, more concepts. I got my new Klei.
I'm trying to enlarge it.
We're trying to make the screen a little.
I'm just admiring them. Andrea did these. I'm like, these are so beautiful.
Really good job.
Like, to the key point of the story, we just need to know that the orphanage or this building requires one window that's lit up. Like, that serves the story. And there needs to be a floor where everybody was sleeping. Like, just like when you design these buildings, you kind of have to remember what is needed to be some sort of realistic. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be. It's like... this one magical window is in this room that's really small looking like, but it's really big on the inside. It's not quite that precise. Let's go to the next one. Do I have more? Oh yeah, these are some of her
I love
roughs
how
as
moody
well.
these are, and there's the oranges and reds with the kind of gray and blues, just hot and cold. It looks so good.
Thank you, Ace
Marty. I'm really bad with like reading names on the spot, so I may mess up, but
thank you very much. I like these. They were not the final, but we liked the top right one so much that when she started cleaning up, she was like, "Well, make them cleaner." But we were like, "No, we love the rough. We love the rough, especially now. Your animations, you could keep it rough too."
Yes, yeah. It
kind of helps, right?
It helps a lot. The scribbly style. Sometimes when I do try to clean stuff up, it loses life. Like it just looks a little bit more full of life when it's a little imperfect. Like nothing's perfect. Why should this be perfect? It's the scribbly adds a lot of texture to it.
Yeah.
So
do our backgrounds really affect how you animate in a way? We're like, let's try and make an animation that fits the background style.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you guys might end up seeing how I
change.
Yeah, I did the beefalo, the jumping, bouncing baby, beautiful beefalo, and so I tried to make that look a little looser because of the background's more watercolor. Okay, so I think cool. I do try a bit, but I'm not so good at it yet. So
no, but that comes through. Yeah. There's some questions.
How often do we play the games? I have it on my phone, and every now and then when I need to unwind, I'll play it on. I don't know. It's like not an unwinding game because it's stressful. But I play the chill mode.
Oh, there's a chill mode.
There's a bit more of a. I still get killed by the wolves.
I need to look at that. I need that.
Time, but
is it hard to get into a job as a concept artist? Asked Rosie Rose. Rosie Rose.
How many roses? Rosie Rose.
I don't think we each person have a job named concept artist, which is kind of rare, but we all do a bit of concept. Like when you come to a new character that's new in the background, you might design it. So at Klei, we don't really have a title as concept artist, so I can't really answer to that because I don't think I've worked professionally as a concept artist. And
really?
Well, I've done background design, background keys. I think what people technically think of concept artists like video game. Bigger companies and
like illustrations,
and all they do is concept. I think there's less working back and forth in those situations, perhaps, of like seeing what actually your concept looks like in the end. Where here I could be like, oh, I drew this thing, or like the animators on Don't Starve, they draw. I see the drawings of like the concepts, so like this rough stuff, and I can see it in game later.
Right? Yeah, a little different for how we're doing stuff.
Yeah. Some more? Oh,
there's more question. These are good questions. Kirst NG
asks,
how do you like working with someone you know but not work with on what? Sorry? Reading. This is why I draw.
how is it like working with someone you know, but now work with on the short? Maybe like I know you?
Yeah.
I never know you before.
We met at like a party once.
We did? At bad memory.
Junie's party.
Oh, that's before you worked there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have bad memory, so everyone is new to me. This scene is very interesting. It's a very I want to show you the
loud camera noises.
What? Oh, sorry. That's okay. Is that the last one? No. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to show you the backgrounds separated into the Photoshop for the scene later. I could pull up now, I think. How do I... Let me double check. Okay.
We're gonna switch screens.
Here we go.
There we go.
Can you see y'all? Yeah. Alright. So when we do backgrounds, there's, separate into layers. The tree's gotta move, so we separate that into layers. I can show you how the shot looks like, finally. Watch it again. It fades inside and it goes through.
Sometimes sound effects really help.
Oh yeah,
like your own made sound effects when you're animating or you're doing camera.
Oh, do you do that?
Yeah.
You make. Oh, you don't do them loud enough. I don't hear it.
Oh, we sit next to each other. In this exact same way too.
I didn't know you made sound effects while you animated.
Yeah, like. Or when you're talking to people, like I want to like, and other animators, anyways, they understand.
They understand. Yeah. Oh, cool. Usually, new information for me. Yeah. This shot took me a long time to comp, as we originally wanted to like truck in all the way to that window, but that would require
hold on it, and
it would require a lot drawing this of a lot bigger. So this front of the building is a piece, and the inside of the building is another piece, like the page you saw. So this is the inside. The light is the without the light
light on, light off,
light on, light off. Oh, you can't see it. You can only see it for a second. But I used that light layer you sort of saw for a second there to mask out the shadow of the monster when he comes in. So that it was a lot of comping stuff. And there's a orange light from the candle that I had to turn on and off. Oh no, I moved it later. Oh, sorry. This was before. Later we moved the candle just for composition. So there's an off state and on state. So you toggle it when it's candles blowing out. You fade into each other, and there's you can see the red that I had to fade out when we pass through the light.
Once the light goes off, it's no longer sending out any orange light.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
You sort of have to picture in your head how it looked like in real life, even though I've never gone through a candle in my life.
Gone through a candle in a window?
No, this is the orange-red layer. I don't know what that outside layer is. But yeah.
Ace is also asking, like, how long did this take from start to finish? I believe, like, we had 3 or 4 weeks, but we had to break for Hamlet. So we stopped to do that that trailer.
But roughly every time you've seen a new trailer come out, we're working on the next one. And the next between trailers, we're working on the next one. That's roughly how long each one takes.
Yeah. That's another reason why we kind of work a little looser with animation, because if you see stuff like Disney, it's super clean. They have a whole department that just cleans stuff up, and another department that just colors stuff. But it's just a few of us, like a very small team, and so the fact that we get so much out in such a short period of time is pretty awesome.
Yeah. We will mean thefts. So just to let you know, you did an amazing job with the baby Vivalas.
Thank you.
You're doing more.
Pretty much anytime I see a cute animal, I'm like, mine.
Let's dig into some Photoshop backgrounds. I'm just gonna draw us. This is Andrea's background, and I think one of the keys I reference all the time throughout the whole short. I really like the way she did the lights. It's like designed. It's not realistic, but there's light in that room, and each shape. I think designing shape is very hard. You kind of just, at the same time, you can also cheat with it. It's like, I want some light there. Look cooler like this. You do it, and you don't have to follow the rules. So that, in that sense, that it's easier to do. But in another, you gotta design this one simple shape that tells you that there's light on that wall in one shape.
And also trying to draw your eye into a certain area.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like the light
helps a
onto
lot
the beds on this side. There's a light layer.
Like the instant you turn off that light, we're not looking at that same spot anymore. It's pretty
Ooh,
cool.
what's behind there?
Humans like shiny things like crows,
Yes.
so you gotta direct attention in certain places at times.
There's beds on the side.
Is it all just Photoshop? Asked Transmission Dream.
Mostly, yeah. I mean, the only time we didn't use Photoshop was the Beefalo. I call it the Beefalo short now.
Yeah.
Warthog short. Yeah. I don't know if you want to see some of the brushes.
Oh yeah, brushes.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how to use Photoshop.
This is Photoshop CS3. I'm not
I used
very
it
good at
in
this.
school in like 2003 or 4, and not since then.
I think the line brush is not here. It's just this pencil-y brush for the lines to get that pencil-y look. We also did that pencil-y look on the comps. I don't know if you could tell. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we made your animations have this noise on it to make it a little bit more pencil-y
right.
as well.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone noticed that, the
Small
different
detail.
texture in the lines.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Okay, so we only had 2 brushes. 2 texture. One for the line, 2 other for paint. I think this one is used to do some of the shapes.
Ooh.
You could use them as big and small. They got different effects, but that's all you need. This is the... And I think the only texture to get that... Because Dalmatian has that slight texture look, we had
I'm
this...
23, sorry, breaking in.
That's
Ask
okay.
how long it takes to do one of these backgrounds.
For the keys, it takes longer, maybe 1 or 2 days. And then after you've done the key, it's very easy just to copy one thing to the other. That one I could do 2 or 3 a day. Bang them out pretty fast.
I can't do backgrounds. My backgrounds are usually like a line with a little shrub and like a tree in the middle or something.
It's so funny that one time I sent a background, I did, and then you all started sending, your animator starts like, oh my god, it's amazing, and sending me, this is the background I do, and you guys drew
Our
it.
backgrounds are just like blobs of paint.
It's so much
fun.
And this other brush looks like this. I think these are all Kyle Webster's brushes, if anyone was wondering that. And I think...
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's got like a jitter on it, so it rotates.
Oh, I did this trick already. Can you see this part?
No, they can't see that bar. Okay. And we're in the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
They so normally it will look like this, but we tone down the opacity so that it will overlap a bit more. So to get that texture. And I kind of just studied Andrea's file. I was like, I think that's how she did it. So that's how I did it. I'm not sure that's how she... You might also just toggle the pen pressure to do the opacity as well, which does not exist in this Photoshop version, actually. So yeah, playing with the brushes setting helps a lot. Even if it's the same round brush, you could play with the settings to get a lot of different looks.
I think there's a question about how much time was overall spent brainstorming on the short, and that, I believe, is a question probably for Jeff and Chris.
Brainstorming on the story? Or brainstorming...
Just as brainstorming for the short.
Animation itself.
And the time spent on...
like we said...
As I said, everything happens, like, we overlap, so... Yeah, 3.5, 4
I mean,
weeks.
for the latest one we are doing. But like, as the latest example I can think of, the concept might take a day or half a day, or roughly having an idea. Or I create the mood board. The mood board itself will tell you already what the direction's going, and you can start animating before I even finish like any background. And roughly after I do a key background, we would do rough layouts. I would try and do rough layouts for every single shot, so you guys will have a background to animate on top of. Yeah. Let's show another one. No, don't save. Let's do a flash timeline.
Rosetta Player. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing usernames, guys. Are there any art resources that you'd recommend that aren't frequently praised by others? Art resources, I would say, like friends.
Friends? Yeah. Like asking you for tips on
tips. Or do you have reference for that? Or have you seen something like this?
Yeah.
Or can you hold this thing up so I can draw it?
Yeah.
Like, how does this drape?
Yeah.
Or just, friends,
sure.
people. Real life.
Yeah.
Walking around in nature.
Yeah. I mean, I use Pinterest a lot too. Instagram, that's the frequent
Pinterest,
ones, right?
yeah.
But that's also friends, actually.
That's friends. If it's Instagram, it's friends.
It's my friends. I see my friends' art. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. And friends will send you art that they think you'll like as well. just because I love that. Look, perspective grid.
Oh yeah, perspective. That's a thing
That's
that
a
I don't
thing.
always think about when I animate.
There's doors. I asked her how she did this overpowering red to see like if she used the previous backgrounds and made it red overall, but it looks like she just colored it.
We'll have to get her in here one time for a stream.
Yeah, for sure. I was looking at this nice blue light. It looks so real, like a night scene. And I dug into it. Where is it? Oh, I can't see my Photoshop. All it is just painted blue. Floor. Oh, some texture.
Oh, texture. Rolling
So
texture.
there's 4 layers. It's all. Let's look at the floor. There's one flat. That blue. She just painted that blue. Just
Adds something like
that's
that
it.
adds a lot
Yeah.
to the mood of the shot.
Texture
so.
for some floor texture, and then some dark ones to add another layer, and that's it. This is the floor lines, and just some scribbles for the burnt. And there's
Little
those
scratchies.
little scratchies. And she did some windows, I think, to keep the tree. There's trees in the back. Where's the windows?
How do you guys decide to use which textures to use?
Like when we look, I think whichever one feels right. I mean, we looked at Dalmatian and that kind of papery texture is what we're going for. Then that's try and find that brush, or try and make that brush if you can't find that brush. You can also scan papers to create textures to get.
Oh yeah, layers look so nice. Name your layers, people.
Oh yeah, she's so organized. I love that.
Because someone else might end up having to go and dig into it, and you always want
I
to
am
leave
right
it.
now. This is the first time you're looking at this. Outside.
It's almost like the campsite rule. Leave it in a better state than when you found it in.
Okay. It's a normal blue on opacity. I see. I'm learning. Alright, let's take another look at
Some other files.
Yeah. We looked at. Oh yeah. I like looking at the roughs and then seeing how. So this shot, this is animatic on top.
If you use this, they can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they can see this one.
They can see
Yay.
mouse.
Lady comes in, opens door, and there's inside. So what do we need? So now we see that this is what you need as animation. So okay, we'll give you that wall on the outside. We'll give you a door that must open, and there's the inside. Roughly, we position where it looks good, and now you have a floor to animate on.
That's blurry. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the outside. And then we have to think about whether
The
or
character
not
needs
you
to
need...
interact with the door.
Yeah.
So I needed it separate pieces. I did this scene with help from me.
But sometimes we ask you, like, how many door states do you need? You animate it first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
because I just did scribble doors, and I'm like, okay, at least like one closed, one kind of half open, and I could flip it and cheat the rest.
Perfect. So now we work together and added doors.
Teamwork.
And inside. And I think I mentioned this in comp later.
Yeah, the shadow needed to move.
Yeah, the door,
as the door opened.
Door was opening and the light wasn't moving, and that felt a little bit unrealistic. Let's look at the shot. Whee! The shadow moves. Very simple shot, but there's so much to it.
Yeah, that shadow was animated.
And there's some
frame by
multi-planing
frame.
effect happening to make it more real. Oh, you can see some mistakes on this.
Oh, shh. Secrets. Should we go into some files? Or
Yeah, I have one last background, but that's it. And then you could look dig into this one. This was so confusing.
So Sun got to do this scene.
Yeah.
It's the quintessential rotation scene that Jeff usually likes to do, but
so complicated.
Sun got the pleasure.
If you could try and picture a character walking, and then the camera has to rotate on the character, and it's not 3D, it's not live action, you gotta have the background do the job. This is what I pictured the first time. It's like, okay, the background will pan this way, the character will walk this way, and then somehow will pan this way. It'll work, right? No. It had to be flipped. This is the final background. And it works that the character is here, the character is here starting off. The camera's here, and the camera pans this way. And then the background moves backwards again to be up here to show that she's standing down the hallway. Because this hallway is the same hallway as this one. It's the same hallway. Because she's standing here,
it's a cheat.
and she's standing here. She's not moving. It's the same hallway.
Yeah.
So
it's a curve.
Layout design is very complicated. All right, we could look at the shot of the
Okay, we're
animation
gonna
on this
switch.
later. Ta-da.
Okay, that's some other stuff, but
Okay, I don't know what you're gonna show at all. So.
Okay, well, I'll start with that one because that's where we left off talking about backgrounds. Folders, computer, how to work.
Oh, we're gonna show that one. The one I just showed.
Yeah, I'm gonna show this one was.
Spinny.
If it opens, it's kind of a big file, so sorry, folks. Might.
Not responding.
Oh, not responding. No.
Yay,
Animate. Come back.
How did you act this thing out?
I did not, but often I do. Okay, so Sun animated this one. Let's take a look at the animatic first. So fade up from white or black. Walk. Walk. Stop. And then camera turns. And also, when we were all first watching this, we're like, that's not a bad scene.
Yeah.
It's not so hard.
Nobody noticed.
No one noticed this. This little hidden nugget here. So that instantly changed the feel of this shot. But it's totally worth it. It looks so great.
Yeah.
Animate does not. That's where we end. Whoop. Animate does not have a camera, so we cheat it by panning backgrounds. So
yeah. Also, drawing something 360. I remember back in animation school, one of the project I did was like character rotation of a head. It's the hardest thing.
It's tricky. So I'll go to some of the roughs here. We could all see this. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit. So Sun, I'm gonna hide everything. This is not my file, so sorry, I'm a little slow with it. So she decided that, well, we need a rotation, kind of some information on what's going on with the background.
That's so cool.
So she did this little disc, and she rotated it to see what's going on.
Was that before or after she did the character?
It's before, because then she roughed. You could see this is Willow here. And she put her feet kind of on the disc, and then she rotated her feet with the disc.
So cool.
Pretty cool. And then she kind of, cleaned it up, and
Try that. Yeah.
this is a little rough.
Get tweak the view.
There we go. So this is kind of starting to.
I can see so much form.
Yeah, I know. That's not how I animate.
That's so good.
So you can kind of start to see what's going on there. So
And I like how some of the frames is just a head, and like that's all you need.
Sometimes you don't need the full information. You just need, where's her head going, and
how many images is used in this animation you're showing as this cruise.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
We could look at the frames.
We could look at well, it's it holds for a while.
Yeah.
It holds at the beginning and at the end. There's 352 frames. It's not all animated on twos. In animation there's ones and twos. Ones is like really smooth, and there's a drawing on every single frame. Twos is held for.
How about the camera rotation moves? Do you want those to be on?
Those are on ones.
Oh, they have to be on ones?
Camera moves are ones.
Did she do it on ones?
I think we cheated it a little bit, but
looks good.
Yeah.
If it works on two, you do it on two. If it works on three, you do it on.
If you guys could see these dots, in Animate, each dot represents a drawing, a new drawing.
I'm gonna count.
You could count them. This is just the walk cycle. So she walks in. I don't know if I should. I'll zoom in. So she walks in, and what Sun did here was she animated. It's a looping.
Looping skirt.
It's a looping cycle. There we go. Of her feet, and you could see we actually didn't animate. You don't always have to animate on twos. I think it's a very traditional thought is to always animate on twos. So we animate on threes sometimes, and it feels just as good. Yeah. Also, sometimes it's a slow movement, and it adds a lot of mood.
Yeah, it does.
To
that
the
works
scene.
really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like slowly walking through the fire. This could have been animated on ones, but
it would have a different feeling.
It would have had a different feeling.
Even if it's in the same amount of frames.
It's not really the style either. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So she walks in and stops. Sorry, this is a long scene. And then that's where we call them comps, but that's where that stops. So.
That looks like 20 or 30 drawings.
It's a lot of drawings. And then she bends down. I don't know where Bernie is. I think I'm in. Oh, it's because I'm inside of files. There's so many files. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Where is Bernie? There we go. Background. Whee! So you can see she's definitely not animated on ones, but it feels good. Like it doesn't really Sorry, I'll go back to this view so you guys could actually see what's happening. She walks in. Sorry. And the camera kind of catches up with her.
Bernie there. Picks up.
So it's not animated on ones, but because the background's moving on ones, and we're not just moving one direction, we're moving around and up.
Yeah.
It adds a lot of... There's a lot to look at and a lot of things to draw the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the spinny scene, and with all this cool textured fire, and also this is kind of neat. This little shadow effect.
Yeah.
She put it on a 3-frame cycle.
Oh yeah.
So it could hold for a long time, but it still feels alive because there's a shadow flickering.
And she's not flickering.
She's not moving, but it.
Yeah, it's one drawing.
Yeah, this is a really awesome scene. So
that's really
there's
cool.
another question. Oh, that's the same.
Let's look at some.
So some stuff that I did my section. Someone asked earlier was from when the tall and short lady bursted through the doors to when she was all like curled up in the room. I had to give one of the scenes away because I ran out of time. So Matt did the one where she got flung into the room. So I did the other that chunk.
Portion.
Yeah. So this is the animatic for the scene where she gets dragged down the hall. It's one drawing. But that gives me kind of everything I need.
Oh, that's the animatic.
This is the animatic. This is
okay.
But it's all I need, really.
Yeah.
So
Actually, I remember taking a while in the background because the background has the panning direction.
Yeah. So my roughs were very rough. Hold on, let me hide the animatic. So I was trying to figure out like what to do. This is not how it ended up turning out, but I
don't think I've ever seen this.
I animate very rough. So this is just like me blobbing stuff out, trying to figure out what to do. I kind of wanted her to be like, you know.
Yeah.
And then the lady was like, had to give her a bit of a pull. I kind of
draw them separately or the same time.
I drew Willow first. I went back and forth.
Okay.
And then I decided I wanted Willow to kind of just do a little bit of a. And so right now she's not. She's in the final. You see her being pulled away, but in this I just. I'm gonna pan outward. So.
Did you do a little walk cycle, on the lady to seem like she's walking, or?
No, I just moved her up and down. So.
Oh, she's up and down.
Oh yeah, we didn't show this stuff. Here's a concept art. We have a few. Oh wait, nope. Where are my concepts? I thought I had other concepts. I don't.
Oh, you're finding other files.
Yeah. Hair scribbles. Colors, all these different layers, and everyone works differently, but I found that this is kind of how it was good for me to work.
Jan asks, wait, is this our Jan? Other than the turn and pan up scene, what was the toughest part of animating this short for you?
I didn't do the turn and pan up.
Yeah.
So for me personally, it was probably, I have it here, the scene where what did I call it? Big scene.
Open it.
That'll probably take a second to open. Just because it had 3 characters, a background interaction. It's the one where the 2 ladies burst through the door.
Okay.
And that one took me way longer, I think, than it should have.
What's the toughest part for animation for you?
Well, the toughest part of animation.
That's my question. I don't know what's what he meant, but...
In-betweening.
In-betweening?
Figuring out where I want the in-betweens to... Because depending on where you put them, it could totally change the feeling.
But you already know what kind of feeling you want to achieve before you get to the in-betweening stage? Or you kind of have to figure it out as you go?
Well, like for this one, you could see in the timeline I have a lot of keys. I probably didn't need that many. I'm not really a master yet at simplifying my work. I kind of feel like
as a person who's worked in the industry for 14
years. I just overcomplicate things. Like this, there's the... So she kind of pulls her first, and then she kind of does a little bit of a smear and reaches forward and, no, Bernie! And as you can see, it doesn't look like they're walking down the hallway. It looks like they're still. But this is where I did the pan on the outside. So I pan the background and I pan them smaller, and it works.
So the rough that we saw earlier is roughly where your keys were.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think also we had to do the shadows because anytime these ladies had the light, the lantern, it felt better to have the shadow, so having to go in after and add shadows.
Yeah, it's awesome. Someone noticed that you were the one that did the opening the door scene. Let's show that one.
Oh, I didn't bring it.
Oh, this one.
The opening. Oh, this one. Yeah. So I thought you meant the opening. The doors open a few times.
Oh.
This one. This took me a while.
This is a pretty epic.
So.
Oh, I just noticed for the first time they don't turn at the same time. You offset it a little.
Yes, just because if you move everything at once, it doesn't feel right. It seems robotic if everyone moves all the time.
But it happens so naturally that I didn't even notice.
So this was the animatic. So she's like, yay! Boof! And then, no!
Those drawings?
Yeah. So she actually, as you noticed, she didn't fall onto the floor, and I probably could have just had her get pushed aside and spent less time on it, but for some reason I felt like it would be a bit more vicious if she got actually flung to the floor and had to pick herself up. And then I was like, why did I do this to myself? I have to now animate her getting up, and how does someone get up? So I acted it out.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'm not...
Were you...
I did it at home.
You did it at home.
I was like, how do you stand up?
Yeah.
And I still had I cheated. It's not accurate to life, but...
I think I remember having to act something else once, and I was too embarrassed to do it, so I went to the work's bathroom, and I just went to the bathroom and acted something else.
Yeah, I don't know why we get all nervous about this stuff. We're you know... so I have some paint blobs on the side, which is just my paint palette, but you can see...
I think we chose the colors ahead of time too, in the background stage, in the concept art stage.
Yeah, this is over here.
Concept art.
So Jeff did these. It's super awesome. Yeah. Pretty much instantly gave us exactly the feel of these characters at their grumps.
I think that happened the same time as the background were happening too.
Yeah. So, I have my references.
You named them too.
Sometimes I name stuff. So you can see I have like a rougher state somewhere, but I kind of tried to give a little bit of form because I usually just do, as you can see, these guys just do blobs. Yeah, sure. Just play it. You can see. So I liked, I wanted the short one to, she's putting up her dukes. I want her to be like, who's there? But there's no time, and it just would have taken forever, so...
But is her final pose kind of like that? Yeah.
Her arms are up, but she's not doing...
You're right, yeah.
Yeah, so... But yeah, so Willow actually gets flung, kabam, and falls to the ground, so... And I like to...
Oh, and let's see those offset turns.
Smear! Ooh! Cheat! Again, it's not a cheat, it's just... what you can do.
We call them cheats, but they're
principles of animation, tips and tricks
of the trade.
Yeah. And Matt actually was nice enough to do the shadows on this one because I ran out of time. So we have, I think this one was done by Anne Marie. Yeah. So this is the animatic for this one. This is when Terrorbeak is like writhing on the bed and she has to jump out of bed and
Who really
run.
likes Terrorbeak? Should I tell them press 1?
Yeah,
I love Terrorbeak.
It's pretty cute. So where is everything? There we go. So this is her file. So you can see some of these roughs. It's pretty cool. This is it's easier to animate stuff like flowing clothing and hair and all that stuff after once, because they're gonna follow. They're gonna be secondary. They're gonna follow through the action. So they're gonna move when she moves, like hair.
But the skeleton is actually how you picture the characters would be without hair.
Yeah. So
so good.
So she has no hair, but that's fine because she'll get up there. But yeah, so she does this really beautiful little fall and then scamper, and she trips again.
Is that a smear?
This is a smear, yeah. And that adds so much to the feeling of this shot, is that she's scrambling and a lot's at stake here. So this is one of my favorite scenes, actually. So, and then Terrorbeak. Oh.
I know.
Yeah. So just play it through, and she runs away, and again, so you're doing sound effects too.
Naturally,
it just feels right.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think that it's okay to show this. Please throw. No take, only throw. Super little.
We call him Puppy.
Yeah, because he's just so cute.
I think it helps when you're animating to picture and put a personality.
Yeah, because we've only in game he just appears as this shadow. We don't really know like who he is.
Yeah.
And so it also lightens the mood when we're trying to, get through scenes and kind of share little things with each other like that. So
was it a specific dog? From the studio? No.
I don't know. I'm not sure. And this one was done by Matt.
I was telling Steph how much I love this scene.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of camera. You can see all this stuff, this purple stuff. These are all camera moves. Yeah, I'll just play it. I'm so used to scrubbing through scenes.
Did anyone else notice that guy in the first couple of frames? Every single time I watch this, I know it's there, but...
She doesn't see it. You feel it, though.
I feel it. Yeah. Like, something is there. How many frames is it? I want to know.
Let's go. So he starts to... She looks away.
1, 2, 3...
It's quite a few frames, and then he sneaks back. But your eyes kind of go into where...
Yeah, I think because the camera moved, I'm focused more upper right corner, not in the bottom left. That it works perfectly where it's outside of my peripheral. Ooh. That I know something I saw in my peripheral.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, and this is a shot, we call it POV, so point of view of Willow. And this is after she gets thrown into the room, so she's looking around.
Yeah.
And so the camera move had to be nice and smooth and kind of relatively how the girl would be, Willow would be looking around.
It would be, that's easier to animate the camera move than to animate her actually looking around the room.
So I think that's just, this one. So there's some roughs here, but I wanted to show some...
Do we ever decide together that Cherubic was going to be like a puppy, or it's just like simultaneously everyone?
I think it kind of just happened. So here's some roughs, and obviously this is not the final of what we end up seeing. So that is, he pops his little head out. And then kind of the swoop. The swoop is the same, but this turns different. He doesn't just go psh.
Oh, he didn't.
Not in the final.
Okay, yeah. I was like, no wonder I don't recognize that shape.
Yeah, there's all these different colors. Just mean they're different layers in a different point in time that Matt was trying to figure out how he wanted his animation to go.
Since you guys do each scene yourself, it's okay that they're not named because you're not passing on to other people.
Yeah. So these are Matt's different stages of roughs. So you could feel.
Did he wag his tail there? No.
He kind of does like a flick. So it's like he's kind of being a little
Is that
inquisitive.
the final in this front view?
This pretty much is kind of what ended up happening.
There's one drawing of the front view where he doesn't have his beak.
Yeah, I'll go into the actual.
Paddlefoot named him Swifty. I like Swifty.
Oops. Is there any other questions about I'm trying to think of things to say about
animation?
About animation or about our process or animate questions like the program?
Oh, I don't know it at all.
Yeah.
I can ask you all day.
So this is again, that timing just feels so nice. And
I think in comp we also added the opacity to him, and there was a point where we're deciding whether or not he had inside of the mouth. There was a debate.
We didn't know if we should see interior of the mouth or just a shadow.
And that was hard to describe with a shadow, like 2-color shadow, or I think he works better as a silhouette. But there's still so much form in the drawing.
Oh yeah, the scribble again adds more life. Like if this was all colored and super clean, it just wouldn't feel as alive. I think so.
But it worked because the background wasn't as clean.
Yeah.
Was it difficult changing the Cherubique's perspective since he always has a side view profile?
Not my scene, so I can't answer this truthfully, but I could see it probably would have taken I think only Anne-Marie and Matt had
the one coming forward.
Yeah, just I guess you have to think of, okay, well, he has a snout, so think of it as a box that's sticking out, and how would a box, if a circle in a box would move.
I'm bad at drawing animals, and I always find snout really hard to draw when it's front view. You have a dog, so it's he's do you just stare at your dog how do I draw you?
And he's not a real character or a real. He's not a real living thing, so you can't reference it. But you could kind of think of make it up as you go, or.
So it's difficult.
Yeah, that's difficult. You could poke people. Does this look like a good perspective?
Yeah.
So.
Old Man Rainy Day asks, can you show the anime camera at work with the hallway walking scene? Ooh, the
hallway.
Your
spin. This one? The hallway?
Is it this one or your scene?
Hallway walking scene? So the camera...
We can show both of the camera. Yeah. I guess what does the camera setup look like?
So I'm inside. So again, there is no camera in Animate. The new Animate has a camera. I've never mastered it, so I don't use it. I don't really know how it works. It's not like a Maya camera, but there's a little there's like this little icon, if you guys can see my mouse. Ooh, sorry, right here. It's like it's a camera. I don't know how it works because I'm old school, so we just
symbolize.
There's a button at the top and it clips to, it's called clip content outside the stage. So I usually work with it not clipped so I could see everything, and then you clip it to show exactly what the viewer.
The comp? That's this one?
This is,
and then there's a key there.
Yeah, so this is, I could make a keyframe, which is F6.
Oh yeah, show them.
And I can move the scene around, and
show them.
So I'll move it down here,
and
then I'm gonna add a tween, which you could right click. There's hotkeys and stuff, but I'll just right click so everyone can see. There's multiple different kinds of tweens, but we just use classic. So now you'll see that when I clip it, it's gonna look like, I'll zoom in. It's gonna look like the camera is panning up.
Penny down.
Penning down. It's opposite. You move it the opposite direction to what it actually would be in real life.
Yeah. It's so hard with camera moves. Even when I draw backgrounds, I take objects and like try and picture what they will look like against each other. I'm like, okay, so I'm panning this thing this way. I have to move the thing in the back that way.
Sometimes if I'm doing like zip pans or something, I'm like, okay, well, if the door's here and this thing's there, then I would see the door first, and then what would I see over there? And you have sometimes moving sound effects and moving your body.
Yeah.
Help.
Even perspective stuff, sometimes I draw like, oh, there's a cup. How would I see it?
There's water in it, careful.
I know. Can't drink some. Like looking at it. Oh yeah, my coffee.
Coffee!
Thank you very much. And looking at the object in real life to just get the idea of... Yeah, look into real life. We have more questions. Tara Lynn Price asks, is it difficult to keep the scribble consistent between frames?
Yes.
Yeah?
For me, because I come from a background where I pretty much only had builds or puppets. Different places call them different things, where actually I have a scene where I kind of symbolized a few things. So once you draw it once, you don't have to draw it again, and you could just squash and stretch that one thing and it stays.
You squash and scratch the scribbles?
Yeah, so this one she goes...
Oh yeah.
And inside her face, I symbolized... Oops! I symbolized her face. So I could save a bit of time on drawing, so I didn't redraw stuff, and I think these eyes, I don't think I redrew them. Nope. No, they're just squashed and stretched, so I just took the whole eye and squashed it down with using the transform tool, which is Q, and if I hold down Alt, it will squish from the bottom. It will squish from the opposite point that I'm...
But it does reach a point where you can't scratch anymore. You need to redraw, right?
Yeah, sometimes you'll hit a point where you're like, it's just better to redraw. You try to use... Oh, is that our...
Almost there, but actually my scribble question too is like, there's some scenes where there's more movement to it, where you are re-scribbling. Are you keeping in, like, the flip between the frames and making sure they're consistent, or the scribbles are just like...
So... Like you're kind of doing scribbles, and then the next frame, which is F6, making a new frame. There's an onion skin option.
Oh, you do reference the previous scribble.
Yeah, like so it's like, oh, how thick is it, or how thin is it? Oh, that's too thick or that's too thin.
So scribbles matter.
And then you can flip back. Oh, you turn off.
Okay, we have a lot of questions for the next 10 minutes, so I'm gonna quickly go through them.
Yes, please do.
Island23 asks, are there any extensions plugin you use animating easier? Name them off quickly.
There's some, you could get them on, I wonder if I could send links. It's, anyways, there's...
What are they called? You could write...
I don't know what they're called.
Okay.
Yeah. Like but there's some that make it easier to go forward and back in, inside of a symbol, which I could show on the shrug maybe. I don't know if they're set up on this computer. Without having to go inside of it. Nope.
Oh, you could scrub outside of it.
Yeah, you could scrub outside. It's not set up properly. But
the thing I find with shortcuts is like, if you find you're spending a lot of time on this one action and you wish there was a shortcut, look it up. There's gonna be someone that uses
There's
it.
stuff online too that you could, at home I bought my own pack of plugins. Woody, I think it's called like Cartoon Woody on Etsy. He sells stuff, so I have that at home for when I do my own animation. Yeah. And he's got a few plugins there that are helpful. Yeah. So
if you find that you're stuck doing something that shouldn't take that long, look it up and find something.
Someone's got something.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for people wanting to get into the animation industry or the art industry as a whole? Keep doing art.
There you go. Keep drawing. Keep doing art. Don't let people say it's not a way to make a living.
Oh my gosh.
Because obviously it is.
Yeah. And it's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, don't give up because it is hard. It is hard. It's fun, but it's hard, and you'll always, a lot of people, me included, are, you can be really tough on yourself. You're your own worst critic. So be kind to yourself.
All artists.
Yeah.
All artists
and like, and compliment other people and ask for their advice. Like, hey, that's really cool. Like, can you show me how to do it? And people are always really willing to, there's no secrets. And people want to check out what I did. Oh, look what I found out. And you'll grow so much. So, yeah.
Do you spend afternoons doodling any future ideas? Ask Ace the Marty.
No.
Do you doodle?
I doodle and I don't share it with anyone. So I just kind of do stuff on my own, little scribbles here and there. Some people have their own like comic books going on in the background. You sold a little watercolor art painting that you did. So
I think they're asking more maybe in-game stuff. But wait,
for game stuff, not in my department, so I just animate what they tell me.
Do you do animation like, oh, I have this scene up next. How would I act it out? Like,
a lot of times my doodles are the roughs. Like if I pulled up the Beefalo shot, it's just he's pretty much a bouncing ball. Okay. So I just doodled the little. Well, he could bounce around like this, and so
that's cool.
Yep.
Do we have more scenes?
Do we have more scenes? We have. I mean, I didn't grab everything. But I just wanted to grab. Oh, so now those things pop on and off.
What's the dragging back?
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, this one's a good one. I don't know if we have time for it. This one. So this is the one where she gets dragged away. So this was the animatic, and then this was my roughs of trying to figure out what was going on. So I didn't have a background yet. This is what we mean by we were working at the same time. Yeah. So,
but sometimes I get animation from you, and I would do the background according to the animation too, just so like what would you need? I'll make my background according to yours.
Yeah, and so I have the references on the side, and then on this little corner
so cute.
doodle, I was trying to this is what's happening. Yeah, this is like my idea doodle is well, this is what's happening profile. So what's happening because one character's back view, one's twisted and being stretched, so
you gotta have to figure out what it looks like.
Yeah,
in other angles.
And so that was.
It's a nice hand.
I changed it a few times. This is a bit more cleaned up.
Oh, that's a nice hand.
And I made the tall lady like way too squishy. She's got like a cane, but that was just to get an idea.
Wait, is this not the final?
No,
she's not that squishy.
No, she's not that final. Not the squishy. Nice. This one I needed a thing called.
It's still a good animation. It just doesn't suit the character.
It's too silly. Yeah. But I made a foot slip chart so that
perspective,
you see that she's not actually moving through space. But
that's how walk cycles are done, right? Mm-hmm. I remember
because I decided I wanted to pan the character instead of redraw her every single frame. It's easier to just do a looping cycle. So
because every single frame you have to draw her smaller and smaller and smaller.
It's just So this way I could just let Animate do the work where I would. Draw her and figure out where her feet should be, and then just pan the character so it looks like she's moving away.
There's a shadow.
There's a shadow. Matt did the shadow for me again. Bless his heart.
He's sick right now. Get better, Matt.
Get better, Matt. So here she's not moving at all, and this took way less drawings. Her head is just one drawing, but everything else moving makes it feel like it's more than one drawing. I just pan this up and down. This is one drawing, and it's just panning up and down.
So nice.
And
but you drew the skirt.
I drew the shadows on the skirt and everything, and then
the skirt's moving.
Yeah,
3 simple lines tell so much. I could tell her knee like going forward. Yeah, in the shadow. The
shadow really helps sell like her knee movement.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
GB asks, how did the Don't Starve art style end up the way it did? It's one of my favorite art styles in anime media and super big inspiration for me. I was told this by Jeff once.
I wasn't around long enough
I'm
to know.
not sure. I mean, I can share this. I think it's just like what the game requires. The style look different. I think it's somewhere online where like the game used to look like a totally different look.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. I think what the game style it's just like these trailers. What the story requires, the art style comes about organically.
Yeah, and it could have been whoever was the lead concept person. That's
like
how
more
they
than
drew.
one. They
or-
just like combine together. I find the art style be so much cooler when it's multiple artists bouncing off each other rather than one artist sitting there trying to be someone else or like
collaborative. That's the thing.
then it creates a new style that's completely out of new. So
Before-
I'm glad it's an inspiration.
Before we get cut, I just wanted to show this is the background that was given, and then Matt, when he came up with the shadow, he did it's a darker version of the background. Oops, a darker version, like with no lights.
Yeah.
And then you animate the shadow, and in Animate you could create a mask. So what it is just a mask panning across.
Ooh. I think it's because I wasn't here. We could do it differently, but
This is how, this is how we figured it out.
yeah,
so.
it works too. Yeah.
Anyways,
That looks really cool.
yeah. Are there any more questions? We're almost out of time, everybody.
Yeah. Well, should we go back to camera?
Should we switch back into our proper?
I'm Steph.
There you go. There,
Hi.
there we go.
We have 2 minutes.
Musical chairs.
Okay. How did you get into animation?
I got into animation because I love cartoons and I love Sailor Moon, and there was an episode where they're animating, and you got to see like how they're animating, and it just I don't
There's
know.
an episode like that?
There's an episode. Yeah, it's like cursed pencils. It's awesome. Sailor Moon's great.
I'm actually rewatching that right now.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But just, I loved cartoons, and when I found out it was a job, someone has to do this.
Right.
I can maybe do that. And
Yeah.
so in high school, my teacher did an intro to animation, and
What?
we learned bouncing balls in high school.
That's
and
really cool.
yeah, and I wanted to do stop motion.
Stop motion is really cool.
Yeah, but not as many jobs as 2D.
I mean,
or
I think
3D.
once in a time it was.
Yeah, not
Probably. All
so
the
much
commercials used to
anymore.
be all like that, and
How about you? How'd you get into it? We have how many minutes left?
I have a friend that found out animation was a job. Not
yeah,
me.
see? There we go.
It wasn't
Talk
me.
to friends.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I was like, I just want to draw, and she's like, animation, you could draw all day. I was like, okay.
Probably one last question is, how do you feel animating the short? Awesome. It was cool that I do really
Fiery. I don't know.
fiery. I do so many cutesy stuff in other cartoons I worked on, so it was really nice to do a bit more of like a dark, sinister, kind of gloomy, creepy thing.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
we each different short you get to do like a different background style for
Yeah.
me, and like
Something totally different that I've never done before.
yeah, each show you have it refreshed. We get into a different mindset. I don't actually know what I'm supposed to click,
Okay,
but
are we? Oh, one more minute. Ha ha! I got time.
what do I click to get out? I have no idea.
Jen, how do we turn it off?
Oh, outro, I got it. Okay,
Okay.
anyways.
Do we click
Yeah.
on now? Oh,
Not
right.
yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
cool.
We have to kill another minute.
But
What
thanks
else
for
is-
coming,
yeah, thank
everybody.
you so
Thanks
much.
for my sitting through my first little nervous stream here. So
How'd she do? She did good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. I like it, and we're at time. And thank you, Elaine. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Oh, we're hosting Unorthodox right after the stream.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.